All right, our next speaker is Lou Kerner, and he's going to talk about 7 ways to optimize NFTs for community. Come on out, Lou.
All right. Okay. Take the microphone. Yep. All right. Let's see. We got a presentation going here. Yes. Eventually. Well, real quick, for those who don't know me, which is probably most of you, I'm Lou Kerner. I've been crypto 24/7 since June 29th, 2017. There we go. 10 thoughts on community. Let's see. So just real quick, my origin story, I ran an early social network called Bolt. We peaked at 23 million kids. I was the first person to call Zuckerberg and offer to buy Facebook a month after he launched. After I did that, I angel invested and started my VC in 2012 called the Social Internet Fund. Invested in companies like Meetup. On June 29th, 2017, I held a conference call, and on the call somebody said something, and I saw the crypto light. And what I saw was, for the first time in history, we had a tool set to solve for the community instead of the man in the middle. And I thought that was going to be the biggest thing to happen in human history. But I didn't know exactly what it was, and I took 3 months, and I came up with a construct. In October, I wrote a post called 7 Thoughts on Crypto after 3 months down the rabbit hole. And it was the most read thing on Medium after 3 days, after which Medium ranks bloggers across more than 50 categories. And after those 3 days, I was the 3rd most influential crypto blogger in the world after being in the industry for 3 months, which I say did 2 things. It made me a guy in crypto and improved my first of 7 thoughts, which is that nobody knows anything. We're at the very beginning of this brand new thing. What is crypto? It's a series of technologies, so we all know this, right? Blockchain, and it's enabling community. And what is community, right? So I'm talking here about community. Everybody here has been at the conference. You've heard community again and again and again and again and again. Anybody want to give a definition for community? Anybody in the audience going once? Twice? Well, I'll give you my definition. To me, a community is an ecosystem where when it works, everybody gets more out of it than what they give. And that's magical if you can make that happen. And that's what everybody, I think, here who's building a community, who has an NFT project, if you're building a community, this is what you're trying to do. And there are lots of ways, actually, that you can give value to your community members, right? Cash is one. Bitcoin gives Bitcoin to people in their community for mining and protecting the network. When I ran Bolt, we could get millions of kids to do anything by giving them a badge that would scroll around their profile, conferring status in our community. People love status. People place a lot of value. Now you can give values in NFTs. And I think that non-cash incentives focus is largely on cash, and cash is great. People like money, but you've got to recognize that if people are coming to your community for money, money comes and money goes. And when the money goes, those people are going to go because they came to your community for money, and now you're not giving them money. And I have one corollary to the definition, and that's that communities can grow and scale, highly correlated to what I call value delta. And what value delta is the community produces something for its community members at a cost of X. Community members get it, and they value it at Y. And the difference between X and Y, the difference between what it costs to make and what the community member who gets it values it at, is value delta. And the bigger the difference between those two, the bigger the community can become. And that's why the biggest communities in the world today are the things with the biggest value deltas. And we have a collective name for them. We call those things religions. They produce faith at 50 cents a book, and people value it, quite often more than their entire lives. And that's why religions have scaled to billions of people and lasted thousands of years, because they give massive amounts of value delta. And if you're building a community, you should be thinking 100% of the time about how you can give value delta to your members. Communities are awesome when they work, and what's amazing is what we're going to see more and more of this is communities working together. This is last week, 2 weeks ago at Consensus in Austin, when more than 1,000 different people came, 700 night dinner for the community. Coin Center is the voice of crypto in DC. And communities working together, 1 community, 3 communities, 5 communities, 100 communities together, are going to be producing massive value in the future. you know, in my view, the point of time that we're at today is, you know, I feel like that, you know, the metaverse is the big thing that's going on. And the people here, everybody here in the community is building stuff for the metaverse. If you're building NFTs, you're building something for the metaverse. And I feel like, you know, we are in an epic battle for the soul of the metaverse, for control of the metaverse between what I call FAMGA, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, and the community, the people who are here at this conference. And to me, it feels epically like Star Wars. And we're the Alliance, and FAMGA, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon is the Death Star. And, you know, unfortunately, most of the time, I think the Death Star wins. And so I really believe we're in a fucking war. And it is a revolution. And a lot of people think that we've kind of already won because we should win, and the world would be a better place if we won. But right now, I've been doing this 5 years. It feels to me we were behind when I started, and we're further behind today. The crash has a lot of people down. You know, it's my view that the crypto crash wasn't a crash. I'm going to show you 3 charts. So this is the price of Amazon, 97 to 99. It was up 65x. If you extend it out 2 years, it was up 65x, and then it was down 95%. And to most people, that looks like a bubble and a crash. But if you extend it out a little bit more, what looks like a bubble and a crash is actually just a little blip. And if we're going to be a thing, you know, now obviously what people say, oh, well, you picked Amazon to compare it to. Well, right, I think Bitcoin, I think crypto is the next big thing. And, you know, I have a word I use to describe the tendency of markets to go from bubble to crash and bubble again. I call that capitalism. That's all that it does. It's like the sun going up and down. There is no signal to it. People think there's signal to it. They go, oh my God, the market's down. What's the market saying? Market's not saying anything. The market's finding out if you have paper hands, and most people do. But if you can take context of time, I have $1 million price target on Bitcoin in 2031. Nobody has a crystal ball. I could be wrong. But if I'm right, I know how it's going to get there. It's going up and down and up and down and up and down. And if it's $1 million in 10 years, all of that is just noise. And if you're using your mind share to focus on the noise, you're not building. And this is the last thing I'm going to leave with, and it's part of why we get bubbles. And that's because all great new technology, like crypto, Web3, is overestimated in the short run and underestimated in the long run. And if this is a thing, and I'm pretty sure it's a thing, it's going to be way bigger than anybody thinks it's going to be. Thanks.